Okay, so you want to emboss this, and there's just so much going on and so many different colors. Um, and just one single relief won't really depict the thing very well. There's going to be lots of up and down, and then these, you have to do separate. So with these kind of things, the only one thing to do would be take it into an image editing program and just make it all as all the colors uniform and single like a grayscale and just emboss that and get rid of the reds and whites, just make all of these the same, you know uh, like negative or positive, all the lines red, all the backgrounds white. um, but short of doing that, the other thing, and the way you get really good raised relief STLs out of them, like you find on those paid for sites and stuff, is you actually draw geometry, and then what you do is do regular embosses from that instead of just an emboss from an image, because an emboss from an image is one single depth over the whole thing by color depths. And once you have geometry, you can apply um, many different things to it. So what that looks like is, I'll just show you. I just traced a few things. I traced around the line, and then I traced some of these leaves and things and the shield. And so what that looks like is this. I don't know whether you need me to show you tracing or not, but it's basically just getting the general shape of the thing. And then so now I'll show you what I did was I preset up three things to show you already. Let's just we'll get the model I've got blanked, so right now it's just flat. It's sitting there. Let's blank it again, and then I'll show you how I picked that. So I made this is an emboss from regular. I'm going to select the geometry, and let's get that top one, this top one. And then all of these little leaves, and we'll select that one. And then, so what that does now is, let's unblank it and regenerate. I get little nice raised puffs, and you can really raise them high and control the depths. That's how you're going to get so many different things at different heights to really give it that 3D look. So I'll go on and continue. Let's collect this one. I think I made a second one because if you select these two different leaves within the same emboss, then they totally cut into each other. But deselect. Okay, so I select those two now. And then I think this emboss, I told it it's a merge high. That way it doesn't cut into the other one. They more or less, they bleed together. And then, so it starts forming, the intertwining of that. And then I made one more for the shield here, which is just a straight line. Um, it's a straight line at an angle, so it's like creating a bevel, um, a beveled edge. And so I beveled the shield up. And so now what that looks like is at some point you can go and do the image emboss on top of that. And then, so like if I start right now, let's just do a quick image emboss. Here, let's go like this. Let's just make it 0.4. And I'm going to do a subtract because I like the way the lion looks with a subtract there, right? Then, so, it starts to really start coming through and bang out. But so now you can see though, where like all this lower stuff that I didn't do any geometry with yet is actually taking away from it, like the helmet or that helmet area actually cut into the thing I already did. So what I'll need to do is trace that helmet and and raise it up like I did with the leaves, and then the image will just plant the detail on it, like the little the mask area and the little slots around the top. And so let's delete that. Regenerate. Let's see. Let's put another embossed regular. Let's bring that down to something like that. We're gonna make it an add, and I'm gonna actually make a nice puff out of the lion there. And so yeah, that doesn't look like anything great by itself. However, if I do add the image on top of that after, then an image subtract is what I'm gonna do. Then you can see how it really starts to become a banging model, you know. So the claws are on that leaf. Maybe I would edit my spline there. But you know, leaving that leaf down under there throws it behind the lion and the lion on top of it. And you know, of course, blanking all the geometry and stuff. I can't blank on this. Okay, darn it. But you see all these other lower ones aren't done. I'm just doing it for the sake of showing you how I would do this model now. I can't really show you the whole model because, I mean, the whole modeling process here, because it would just take, you know, basically I'm just tracing. So what is that? You know, what does the tracing look like? I guess I could show you that. So if I go to my top view, my image appears, and okay. So now I just trace these little leaves with the spline tool, so to speak. So, excuse me. Let's say I wanna trace around. I just want to do a blob around the helmet, right? So I'm gonna go grab my tool over here, and let's just say I start here, and I'm gonna just, you know, click, click, click. Normally I would be able to hide the layer that has my other geometry on it here, so I don't accidentally click on one of my other geometries, but I'm going to work around it right now. But you see, because I'm just going to be using this as a puff for the helmet, I don't have to go nuts and try and be totally perfect. I'm gonna just make a puff around that area, making sure it fits in with the existing topology of stuff here. But I'm gonna let all this kind of detail come out from the image emboss. Now you can trace all these details and do image emboss and do regular embosses, and you can get a super nice result. But you're talking about a lot of time, you know. So it just becomes up to you what you're doing that for. So you know, there's a helmet there. Go in, do another emboss regular. Get it to just a general, whatever the size of all the other ones were. I'm not really being overly precise here. Okay. And so now the helmet's popped up, and it looks like I'm going to want to make that like a merge high so it doesn't chop into all my other geometry, right? I think that's the one I need. There you go. So my other geometry goes through that, and then now if I do a yeah, I guess I could let's go up, and I think I should make that a little higher, right? Where's my height? There you go. So now I got my helmet above those leaf things, and then so now it would just change, and I'm just showing you basically what I just talked about already, which is quiet for a minute, And so now the helmet picks up the detail and it's raised with all the rest of the stuff again. So it's just taking the time to break out these other components that I hadn't done yet and just getting nice outlines. The more 2D curves you can use, the better. And then just change the image to just, the image is just going to throw the detail. Like right now, I'm the only reason I'm getting these leaves is because of the image emboss. But really, my image emboss, I just want to be making it so minute, very small, and that adds the detail onto actually embossed geometry that I can totally control the height of. You saw me control the height of how the head popped out of in front of the rest of the stuff instead of it being all black and blended into backwards in behind and blended into everything. I can interactively control. I mean, in theory, I could bring the helmet way out up to here. You know, the helmet could be completely shooting out super high. Same thing with the lion. It could be further and back more because I have that geometry. With the image, it's all across the entire thing. So that's it. You know, if you're having a hard time with how to draw tools, like you know, Bobcat's drawing tools with how to do stuff like this, I guess I could do that a little bit here for anybody that doesn't really have that hard a time. Maybe go ahead and you can stop watching from here, because all I'm going to do is like trace out this thing right now to make another one of these little leaves. So first things first, let me go. I'm going to drag my thing off of the screen for a second so I can switch, so I can turn off the layer with the other geometry on it, and that'll allow me to not get stuff in the way. Okay, so I had traced these already. Let's go ahead and trace something like this, right? So, okay, let's, I'm gonna just go like this. All right. Okay, notice I'm not going too nuts. I'm not being too overly worried about stuff. I'll show you a couple of the other tools here in a second. That's why. Okay, so there's that basic shape. So now I'm going to grab my quick trim really quick, and I'm going to whack off all the ends that overlap each other. Now what that gives me are sharp points and splines in between. So now they have these other tools too, drag corner and deform. So I'm going to start off with the deform, and I can just go around and fine tune my my crappy drawing I did, right? And then there's also a drag corner, which will, once you click there, it actually keeps them both together, which was really nice. And then so, you know, there's that shape, and so it's just a matter of going and doing this one and doing this one separately, or doing this all as one. You'd want to do these separately, because since that's supposed to be a relief behind the other one, you're going to want to emboss here and then change the height of that one, or make it a convex emboss, and it'll actually dig in and cut. You know what, you see what I'm saying? So you know, I got most of it drawn out. You could just draw the rest of these little things. I mean, these I drew in just a few minutes. I was going to do this yesterday, and then I got tied up. But yeah, I did these two up here. You'd want to draw these that come out of the head down here, and a couple of little of these. As long as it took me to do that, I'd probably work on this for about 30 minutes. And then stuff like text, always going to be better to actually use text. So again, if you can find text that matches that, a font, then just retype that, place it about the size, and use that as an emboss. Same thing with down here. I can do this, but how crisp is it going to be? Just outline this thing right here, and then emboss that ribbon as an extrude, and then have, you could draw a curve from right here and fit text to curve, and then use that text to emboss. Anyway, kind of long and drawn out, but that's kind of the gist of how I would do it. And I didn't show you the whole thing, just I just kind of a start of it, but that shows you how if I had to do a really good job on this, I would draw all the geometry to be able to control everything, and then I would just use the image to give it that super much more fine detail added on. Again, this one, the emboss of the image is still a little deep because I'm trying to just show the detail on there. But once I actually draw this geometry and I'm doing my actual extrudes, you could call them, with geometry, then I would just use the image to add detail onto this. So you saw me do this lion, and now the image is only really putting the little lines on it. That's the inner stuff. The actual emboss is coming from that outline that I drew around that. Same thing with all these. You don't want the height actually coming from the image. You want just to use the image for detail. Get all your extrudes and height from actual geometry, and it comes out much cleaner, and you have way more control. And I think that's even what you were asking with the fact, like, if you see this, this is up and this is down, and how would you do it all on the same? I'm not sure if that's what you were asking, but yeah, that's how you do that here. This one's in and these are out. How do you make them all in, so to speak? Well, actually you would have to, if we go look at the image, you'd probably have to reverse the colors on this part of the bitmap to match, and then so I would do an emboss image. I would make two different images. I would cut that image in half and just use the top half, and then I would reverse colors as needed, and I would use an image editing program to do that. Okay, more long-winded than I've been in a long time, but that's how I would do that image.